Welcome to the Theology of a Love Song podcast. I'm your host, Ray,
And Mary Grace.
and together we're the Pingoys. Welcome. It's been a while. We had
Yes,
this
we took
podcast.
a little break. We went on a marriage retreat.
Did, yes.
So we went to a cruise to the Bahamas. Shout out to January Donovan,
Donovans.
the Donovans and Ryan for hosting that, and it was very impactful for us.
Yeah.
We haven't been on a cruise ever. I haven't, and you haven't
Yeah, I
either.
haven't either.
And there was just so much food. That's all I have to say about that.
So much food.
Too much food, but
Great-
it was fun.
But also great company as well. So
Yeah.
shout out to all the couples that were there, and a lot to unpack after as well. And God revealing some things, and us kind of taking it on and bringing it to prayer. So it's been quite an adventure.
Yes, definitely. It was really a great experience, and just the alone time without the
Mhm.
kids, even though we thought of the kids very much.
Yeah.
But I think that alone time is so important for us to have those deeper conversations and to go deeper individually and together in our dreaming for what's the future for us. So shout out again to the Donovan family. And, after that, we've also taken some time to think about, what we're putting out there, and hopefully what we're putting out there with the reels. We had 2 reels that we're going to talk about today. So this is what's the content for today is talking about the last 2 reels. We at first thought that it would just be Ray giving his, and then mine would come later, but as we prayed about it, we felt in tandem would be best, because it's like that phase of our lives where we were kids growing up into being youth and falling in love with the Lord, and that kind of journey of that portion of our life. So
Yeah, and also I think I was taking way too long. I think envision maybe 12 episodes of that, but so we're speeding things up in a way. But also I think too that instead of having more conversation and then doubling it again when Grace shows her point of view, um, we'll just release 2 videos or 2 reels. Is that right? 2 reels, and then we talk about it in this podcast. Just for those that are kind of just joining in, we've mentioned it before, but just to explain, and also we're flying this plane as we're building this plane. So thank you for your patience. We welcome you to join in this beautiful journey. But this first series, I guess you could say, we had in mind 2 things. One is to capture our God-given love story on a podcast. In a sense, it's like a forever treasure for our children. And the second one is for us to remember as well, because it does get a little foggy now that you're getting older. So this is a great time right now. I'm talking personally for myself. It's been a great journey to kind of sit back in prayer and thinking about each part of the story that God has revealed to me. And I was I was in a different phase of my life during that time as well. So kind of going back into time, it's a great way to kind of go back into that time machine and speak to that young Ray, right? Also, it's kind of weird to say, but I'm able to pray for myself. Is that weird? I'm able to pray for myself during that time, like because let's face it, during that time, during our teenage years, we're super dramatic, and so we're like, this is it, this is life, and why don't I have a girlfriend? And it's again in my head, my heart, very dramatic scene, right? So in a sense, the older version of me, I'm able to kind of think back and also pray for that younger version of me. But also, now that we have kids, also praying for our kids as well, because
Thinking
Goodness.
about like that stage, Gabe's 15, our eldest.
Yeah.
Or like know exactly what I was thinking around what that age was.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, we had those, longings in our hearts already building up. For me, I think that brings up a good point. For me, it reminds me of not only do you pray for you as a young boy, but me seeing you as a young boy makes me like fall in love with that little Ray
Mm.
too. And like, loving all of you, the pieces of you leading up to who you are now, because that is who you are. You were from that little Ray. That's the deepest part of your heart, is your childhood, your childlike heart, us as children, I think, are the purest form, and reflecting on myself too, like seeing my pictures of me as a little girl and the feelings I had, um, reliving that kind of, it just reminds me of like, that's me. Let me go back to that
Mm.
girl, and protect that girl at all costs and protect that little boy at all costs. And I think that's how we should look at everyone that we encounter, everyone, not just a significant other, but to love every piece of them, the wholeness of them, not just part, and seeing them with full eyes, seeing them how as a father looks at us, which is children of God, and that person that longs to be loved and protected and seen. And I think as we journey together and we kind of reveal each part of our lives, our phases of our lives, we get to understand more of each other.
Yeah. Yeah. And so again, this part, this first series in our podcast is that it's capturing that. There's also some new audiences as well, and new people that's kind of popping up, and they don't know us, and this is kind of our introduction, talking about our journey. But yeah, it's been a great gift to sit back, to pray, and let God speak into those. You've said it, that ache that we all have felt, as younger versions of ourselves, and then now as adults. So yeah, let's start with that. As I don't know if you all, we invite you to check out the Instagram reels to kind of review and check it out. But yeah, I was born in the Philippines. We migrated here when I was like 9 years old, but I loved love songs ever since in the Philippines. You hear it in the jeepneys, in the taxi cab, in the malls, in our home,
Karaoke machines
karaoke
everywhere.
machine. Yeah, just that this Filipino heart of mine is in love with love songs. So that's what I grew up with. And then stepping into the U.S., I grew up in New Jersey, during the '90s. A lot of great. I was really into R&B.
Mhm.
Um,
Best decade of the
I believe so, right?
music in
I mean, it
history.
was the transition from like the '60s, '70s, '80s,
Yeah.
right, and then now into the again. I love the '90s R&B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was surrounded by that. And
You are 2 years older than me, right?
2 years, I don't know. I always say one,
Yeah.
or more, maybe
It's,
one and a
it's
half.
one and more than a half, but
Sure.
but I think that
It's really just one.
he really has like an old soul too. Like I don't know, he knows all
Oh,
these
man, yeah.
songs that are from the 70s and 60s or even in
I don't
the
know.
50s, and I'm like, how do you know the words to these songs? And he's like, you don't know this song? I'm like, no, I don't know this song.
And
But
I actually want to thank my parents for that. My dad especially, because uh, he put on music for us. We were kind of forced to listen to it, and it was like the Bee Gees. It was the doo wop type of thing, and it was all of those great hits. So yeah, I grew up with, and I think also that's a great gift for this generation. They can go back in the different albums of the many songs that we have. I I I've always pondered that question: how many love songs have there been written uh, throughout history? I wonder if there's like a Reddit chat or something that's discussing that, but I'm sure there's plenty, right? So, yeah, that's why we're leaning into this whole theology of a love song because there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
There's this ache in our hearts that sometimes these writers don't even know that they're writing or singing a song about God,
Yeah.
about our true love. And then you were born here in the U.S.
I was. So I'm one of three. I have two older brothers, and my parents are both from Iloilo, and I was the only one born in the States. So my brothers were born in the Philippines, and then when they were before they had me, they moved to Chicago. I was born in Illinois and born and raised in the USA, and but I I have like yeah same thing where I grew up in the 90s, 80s, 90s, 80s. Um, the cool thing with my childhood was we traveled a lot. It's a pretty unique, I guess, to most people because I was in the States and then we moved to Korea. Not because of, it was basically because my dad got a really good job offer to move there. So he went there by himself and then he checked it out and he's like, this is awesome. Let's bring the whole family. So then decided to bring the whole family there and we lived there for 3 years, from first grade to third grade for me. It was serendipitous uh, that Pope John Paul II, there was the Eucharistic Congress, International Eucharistic Congress happened in 1989. And it
That
just
was a
so,
long time ago.
yeah, it just so happened that my mom was, really active in the parish, and our parish was chosen to be represented in the big Eucharistic Congress. And my mom was friends with the nuns there, and she was the one who asked them, "Can we have our CCD class receive their first communion from the Pope?" And so that wasn't part of the plan. They presented it to whoever the higher ups were, and they approved it.
And it was like a international Eucharistic Congress,
yes,
right?
there was like hundreds of thousands of people there. It was a sea of people. It was like it looked from the pictures. It kind of looks like a flower bed of people. Like it was just so many people there. There was a lot of conversions in Korea during that time. I read up some history, and there were so many that became priests. They were ordained priests at that time. So there was a huge
Roots from there.
yes, there was a lot of fruits, and amongst that huge gathering, us little kids went up this big giant, you had to walk up the stairs to get to the Pope, and he gave us our first Holy Communion during the Mass.
He gave you Jesus.
It was beautiful. I just remember how he looked at me and the gaze he had it, and it was captured in the photo, which is a true treasure for us to have that picture, always forever captured. But he looked at me and he was looking at me kind of like just with a little grin, like a smile. I could feel the Father's love of like, he was so filled with so much joy that he was giving me Jesus, that he wanted that for me. And then I was staring at Jesus in the Holy Eucharist. So I was looking there, and then I remember I received him on my tongue, and I remember my mom told me, if you can, touch him while you're up there to Pope. And I was so nervous that I raised my hand, and then I just grabbed his cloak and I just felt it like this. And then I went down, but I was so nervous. I was supposed to turn right and go down, but I was the only one who went left and went down. So I went the wrong way by accident.
It's all on video.
It's on. I don't have the video, but there are photos captured that I went the wrong way, and I was the only one going down the wrong way. But it was something that just changed my life. And for him to be our first, our our favorite saint,
Yeah.
and how he transformed our lives through theology of the body.
Patron saint of our family. Yeah.
Mhm. Just I've seen how he's just been a big part of my life.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you how that impacted you as a young person. How old were you? Eight or
I was I was 1989. I was 8 years old.
I mean, now again, going back to us being parents, thinking of our kids, how those things impact us as little kids. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, you answered it already, but rewinding back, because we talk about this as well with our news. I think it's a special blessing as parents to be able to name our kids, right? And we really take that to heart. We take that seriously when we name kids. And every single kid that we have, we pray and we ask God to send forth His holy angels to whisper this child's name to us. This child has a name already. This child is here. And so as parents, we want to be in tune with the Spirit and make sure that we are holding God's hand with this beautiful calling to name our child. So going back now to you, how did that impact you that your parents named you Mary Grace? That holds a beautiful title, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've always felt like I loved my name, and it was from my birth date, March 25th, which is the Annunciation of Mary. So I always knew that story from when I was little, and I pondered on it, like how Gabriel visited Mother Mary and announced that she'd be the mother of God, and her yes, her humble yes. And though she was afraid, she said yes, and she was filled with Holy Spirit and all of these things. So I know that my name carries a lot, but it wasn't like a heaviness for me. It really was a
It's
grace.
an honor.
It was literally a grace. So I think that was something that helped form me because I wanted to embody that name. Either subconsciously is what I meant. Subconsciously, I it's not like I knew all that as a little girl. I just think it felt like that was there around me, surrounding me. Mother Mary was putting this grace around me.
You carry yourself in a different way when you learn and know about how and what your name, how you were named and what you were named.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you with Raymond?
Yeah. For me, actually, it's different because I didn't really know what that meant until I was my mom didn't reveal it to me until I was like maybe much older, maybe in my 20s. Um, and even now, I ask more questions. What exactly? Who was that helped maybe inspire or maybe but here goes a story. I just more or less discovered this when I was an older young adult, and my mom told me that I was named after Saint Raymond of Nonatos. When she found out that she was pregnant with me, she she actually was given a novena to pray by, and I didn't know this. This is the part that was just revealed to me, that my grandma, my dad's mom, was the one that gave my mom. I thought she found it randomly in the church, but she was the one that gave my mom a novena to pray for 9 months. Saint Raymond of Nonatos is a patron saint of the unborn. And how beautifully written this is, that now I work for the Archdiocese um, in the Respect Life office. And
Yeah.
how beautifully written that was by God.
And wasn't it true that she was scared at that time? She had a fear in her heart, or like a worry in her heart, and that novena gave her confirmation that everything will be fine, that, you know, that your life is
that I existed,
Yeah.
and my life is precious and
Yes.
a beautiful gift already.
Yes.
And
She shouldn't be afraid. She should be.
yeah, and she didn't meet me yet, but I was a little boy, an unborn little boy,
Hmm.
and here I am now.
Yes. And it's beautiful because, yeah, like you said, your life has been dedicated to working for the Respect Life cause, and chastity along with that, and how it's all tied together, and the dignity of every person, every child. Yeah.
Going back to that whole, my mom was afraid. She was very young at that time. She was maybe 18 at that time. So yeah, there was a lot of unknowns. But what she did know is that God was in control, and
Hmm.
she was again comforted by that novena. She was praying and dedicating her pregnancy with this novena, offering me up. And she said, if this little baby is a boy, his name is Raymond.
Hmm.
And that's a beautiful story to, and I want to pass that on to my kids,
Hmm.
and also to remind them of how God has inspired us to name them as well. 'Cause
Yeah.
Each of them has a beautiful story.
Yes. Very much, and that's something I love about the both of us. How we prayed and discerned for each name very in particular, and even from when they were in the womb, speaking to them.
Mhm.
You speaking to my tummy, and calling them by name, and each one just beloved and wanted, and just a blessing for us, and from every moment, from conception to natural death.
Yeah,
The whole journey.
God calls us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Speaking about how God has us all throughout in our journey. I also want to acknowledge this too, that it's by God's grace and only by God's grace, and I'm very thankful that you were protected,
Mm.
that that you were shielded, and our upbringing. I want to give give a lot of credit to our parents as well, that
Hmm.
they stood firm in their faith. They, as best they can. We as parents, we can't control everything.
Right.
We try to, but there's a moment in parenthood where we have to let go, and trust in what we've taught taught our kids. Of course, continue to pray for them. So that's one thing that's I want to ask you too, is that what are you most thankful for in your journey as a kid? Because this part of what we revealed in the reels that we posted, um, we really do see a blessing in it.
Yeah, I see. I am grateful for that protection, and there was a grace. I feel like
It's all grace.
it is all grace. The preservation of our chastity. Both of us share that story of, you know, it was just somehow there were many times I think I could have gotten into the wrong situation, but God always directed me and protected me, and in all those situations. So like I'm talking about from when I was a young girl to high school to college, throughout in missionary work after college. There was just those moments of protection that you could see. I can look back on my life and be like, wow, I could have, either been taken advantage of, or I could have been, um, you know, put in a really tough situation, but he protected me. Like he got me out of certain situations. And I think that was just a grace. I did make a decision, a very firm decision, that I wanted to preserve and make sure um, I remain chaste and pure for my future husband. And so I had pretty, like, for myself, strict rules about like saving, even holding hands with any guy to be for my future um boyfriend, future who would be my future husband. So like I would always make sure to share that to my sisters, like even holding hands is something reserved um for that special someone. Like you, not even, I mean literally like when you're dating someone, it's you're dating them to get married.
And also, I'd never really held anyone's hand because one thing, my hands were always sweaty. I was afraid to hold the girl's hand. But I think that was also a grace too.
That was
That
a grace that you couldn't hold anyone's hand. Yeah, no, I just say that because I really did have very strong beliefs, and I think a lot of in YFC in our youth group, I even sometimes even get made fun of, like, oh, there's Grace, like with her her ideals and everything. But I I really just was very strong about it, and um and so yeah, there were some guys that liked me and I liked them back, but it was nothing. It never ever developed into anything serious. Um, and there was a protection there. And then, like I said, I just think of some moments like in college when I was studying abroad in Spain. I would go to these bars, that's
yeah,
very
you told me about
very common.
that foam party or something.
Yeah, there was a
Club.
club where
Yeah.
they just dropped all this, it was bubbles and foam, and just like started filling. I'm like, whoa, come from the sky like down, and like everyone's getting wet with these bubbles. Um, but I didn't drink. I just was always taking little cafecitos when my friends would be taking shots, and I'd be like, you know what, I want some coffee, and have some coffee. But that was my go-to. But I remember once we went to a bar and there was like these dancers, like these, they were bringing people up to dance on the dance floor, and one of the guys pulled me, and he was a Spaniard guy, and he spun me and he was dancing with me, and then afterwards he called us down, like me and my friends downstairs. So I just went down, and then it was like a basement, and then he tried to kiss me, and he was just saying I un beso, un beso. And I'm like, no. I'm like, no, I didn't know why I was down there. I don't know how I got down there. So, but like I said, God protected me in certain situations. I'm like, that could have turned really bad. Like, if I think back, like, if I could tell my younger self, never go down to a basement where you don't know where you're going to be cornered. And I was able to just kind of sneak out and just be like, no, no, bye. And I left. But I don't know how things like that happen.
Right.
He protected me on mission. Like I was out in all these different countries. Some of them were very dangerous countries. Like,
Yeah.
um,
Now as parents, like as a father, like I said before, like some of these things you don't have any control over.
yeah,
You just have to hand over your child to God. I mean, we think we're in control, but he's the one that's in control, and all we do is just go in His will and continue to pray for for protection for our kids, because yeah, that could have turned into a different story,
could have been.
right?
Yes.
All those scenarios, but
Yeah.
by God's grace.
By God's grace
God's
alone.
grace.
But I think it's in tandem with God. It's a both and. It's like you make a decision as a young person, and you trust in the Lord,
Yeah.
and then He puts His grace upon you. And I think in tandem with that, because you can't just say, God, take care of me, and then just put yourself in like perilous danger. Like
Right.
I feel like I made great decisions in terms of like boundaries and things, but like as I just told that story, that was a very naive thing to do. But in the naive moments, He protected me.
Mhm.
Um, but then I know that I wouldn't put myself in bad situations in many other times of my life, and I think that's what also saved me from getting tempted to do anything that wasn't like
Yeah,
what
it
I
was
was good for me.
it was that dedication. Then it was that the decision that needs to be made as well. And as for me, when I joined a youth group, when I joined this youth group, I did hear, I was kind of just, all right, I'll go, because my parents were like, all right, let's go here. And it was kind of a trick, because they said it was camping, but maybe I heard it
Mhm.
in a wrong way, because it was a youth camp,
Yeah.
and
But
I
I
thought it
think,
was like camping.
yeah, but I think they probably were like, yeah,
Let's go
it's gonna
camping.
be fun. Get a sleeping bag.
Right. And I was excited.
Mhm.
I wanted to go camping, and I had my sleeping bag, I had the Pringles and the
Mm.
Doritos and my Walkman, and it was a long trip, a good 45 minutes or so in New Jersey. And then when I woke up from that long nap in our van, I woke up in a church basement in Newark, New
You
Jersey.
said it. There was barbed wire
There
all
was,
around this
yeah.
church, and you're like, where am I?
Yeah, and shout out to all the people. And the crazy thing is, and this is again, this is a gift. The crazy thing is that youth camp back in 90, I think 94, 1994. I'm still friends with those guys. I'm still
Mhm.
friends with, like, we became family.
Yeah.
And I think
There was something
that's a
about
gift. Yeah,
those retreats were very special.
yeah.
Yeah.
So those things, now as a parent, I want to invest in those things. I want to create those type of situations for our kids as
Mhm.
well, because we were gifted with that, and I grew up with those guys.
Mhm.
I still talk to those guys, um, but it's just an amazing, again, by God's grace, it's an amazing journey that God has invited us to, and it does take a yes also from us. And that's the first time I heard that whole thing of, the great virtue of chastity, how we're called to that great virtue of chastity as a young person, and even now as a married person, we're still called to that beautiful
Mhm.
virtue of chastity. But I didn't really fully know what it meant. All I was after was falling in love. All I was after was, these um 90s R&B songs. And some of those things, if you listen to it now, you kind of blush. You're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe
Can't believe the
our
words we would sing.
parents would let us listen to these things. But those are the things that influence my heart, in listening to those songs. But that's what I was after. Um, but again, yeah, God's shielding, that, protecting us from those things. So yeah, but that was the first time I heard that one liner.
Mhm.
One of the speakers told us, "I've waited for you." I'm still. I mean, it's been how many years now, but I still remember that one liner. I've waited for you, and I think all of us kind of laughed, listening to that message. But I wrote it down, and I'm like, I want to use this song. I want this song. I want to use this because, again, I was captured by these love songs, and I wanted to fall in love. This little tiny heart of mine was wanted that adventure of having a girlfriend, taking, care of that girl, going out and all that stuff. Um, so yeah, I took it to heart. But then, of course, he said, followed up. He said, you have to mean it as well. You have to live it out. You can't just say it to a girl. You have to mean it with how you live your life.
Mhm.
So I'm like, oh, wow, okay, I believe. And I remember that summer I went, I was kind of grumbling to my mom. I don't know if I told you this. I grumbled to my mom and I said, "It's not fair, mom. Now that I gotten to know Jesus, now I'm like becoming into becoming religious into my faith. I have to be all boring,
Mhm. Have to follow rules
all
now.
the rules, and be boring and stuff. I wanted to fall in love with Jesus, like, after college, after I'm done having fun and all that stuff,
Mhm.
right? But my mom just laughed at me. She said, it's gonna be a beautiful life, a life to the full, when you say yes to our Lord."
Mhm.
And that was 15, 16-year-old Ray. Um, so yeah, that definitely crafted my heart to where God was inviting me to this great adventure of ours,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, that's a blessing.
Yeah, and then you went to a youth conference,
That's
and
right.
that's the Chicago one, right?
Oh my gosh, yes, and that was a memorable one, because I don't know, if you remember those music stores. Before this long, how many hours is that? Like 18-hour road trip from New Jersey to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the mall, and I stood in front of different singles cassette tapes, 99 cents, and
Yeah.
the one I picked out was "Unbreak My Heart" by Tony Braxton,
Yeah.
and it was a single. I mean, I only had like $5 with me, and I'm gonna
We play that
replay that over and
over and
over,
over for
like
the whole
18
trip.
plus hours or so, and I was really into the song, like as if let's listen to it again, but those songs had a very it's a heavy song.
My cassette player
Yeah.
was Shy.
Oh yeah.
I had the whole one, not just
Okay.
not just a single.
I couldn't afford the whole.
I don't know how I got
album.
it, but I had it, and I remember listening to it in just earphones. We're like, replay, replay, replay. Like, this is the best thing ever. This whole album.
It shapes you, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was listening to it as if I was in a 20-year relationship, and my heart was just broken. But that was the trip that we first met each other. I don't think you remember that. I vaguely remember, but I do remember meeting you for the first time, your group of friends for the first time. But we didn't really strike up a conversation.
Yeah, I don't. I really, honestly, don't remember meeting you there. The first time
Thanks a lot.
the first time I remember meeting you was it Virginia? No, that's when we met.
Yeah, maybe,
but we
yeah.
were talking. We knew each other.
Yeah,
before
we knew
that?
each other. Yeah.
Because of the internet.
Yes,
the
that's
internet.
right. The internet.
The internet
Ah.
was all new to all of us. We didn't know what the heck that was. And then
I mean, yeah,
and then-
AOL was the thing, right?
the startup with like that cranking noise.
Welcome.
Yeah. And then AIM.
AIM, yeah.
So how did we?
It was
first
the first
get
time.
to-
Oh my gosh, I remember the first time was eCircles, and that was
That's
kind of like a
the first time?
Facebook type of thing. Yeah,
yeah,
was the
it
first
is
time.
kind of like a Facebook. It
Because
was like a blog.
Yeah, but like based on pictures that you could post,
Mm-hmm.
and you can make comments on it. So it was like
Yeah.
it was kind of like a chat room, but with based on a post picture or whatever.
I don't think a lot of people know what eCircles was.
Yeah,
but
no, it was bought by
Yeah, that was very short lived. But we were all on there, and then when it went away, we're
That's
like,
right.
where did all of my posts go?
Yeah. And then that's when 2 years later, that's when Facebook was developed. But
Yeah.
that was the first time we had our interaction.
That okay? So what did you comment? I don't even remember this.
Yeah, no.
So
Oh my
did,
gosh, I
the
can't remember.
weasel thing.
No, was
you
it?
Said,
No.
You did say something like
The
he likes
weasel.
the weasel.
I do.
thing.
I was
Ray the weasel.
weasel. Yeah.
Yeah,
'cause
that
that's
was his
Pauly Shore.
thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this guy? Like saying the weasel, like
No,
okay,
I remember it now
immature.
because they were making fun of you. My friends were making fun of you, and Chicago people were all back and forth with stuff. That your face when somebody took a picture or you took a picture, and your face was like a deer just stuck in the headlights.
What? I
And
don't know any of
I remember that now. I can't believe I remember that.
What? It was on eCircles?
It was on eCircles, and we were kind of just laughing, like, oh, like look, she's like a deer that just like, like with the
Really?
what was that saying?
A deer in headlights.
Deer in headlights,
Okay.
and you were just like, I don't know, your face was just like, you just
Okay.
staring at the abyss.
Okay.
And so I was joining in making
First of all, I gotta say the Jersey Boys were the meanest. Like they were so mean, but they were funny. But they were mean.
rude and crude.
They're rude.
That was
They were kind of mean. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, that was the first time that
So then you were making fun
interacted,
of me,
and then
and then what? What?
and
Then you
then-
said hello.
there was and then it turned into the whole IM instant messenger,
Okay.
and then
I
I guess
don't-
nowadays
I
it would be
remember
like direct messages now.
Yeah.
I went you to your DM,
Yeah.
and
You
then-
slid in my DMs.
so we started. That's when we started talking.
Okay, you did. Okay, I think I vaguely remember that. So then we started saying hello. Oh, hi, I'm Ray from New Jersey.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, hi. Like, okay, on a chat.
Right, right.
And then the first time we met
The first time we met
was
yeah,
in a CFC conference in Virginia.
that's right.
We took a bus from Chicago, a bunch of us, to that.
Yep.
And then you
Yep.
went there to serve, or you were just there to participate?
Yeah,
too?
my parents.
Just
It was our parents' conference.
Our parents' conference,
and then we just
we
helped out.
Yeah,
We just helped out wherever we're needed.
we were just there.
Yeah, we just
And
hang
so
out
then
stuff.
I met you, but I knew you a little bit because of AIM.
Yeah,
And then I remember when I first saw. Are we going to go into this?
I mean that was gonna be the next episode, but okay, yeah, let's go.
The first time I saw him, he was wearing a black wife beater. That's what they used to call it, but it's basically like a sando or a black sleeveless.
Yeah,
Trying to show off his muscles.
tank top is what they would
Tank
say.
top,
Tank top.
a men's tank top.
Yeah, that's right.
And his hair was super long and like pulled back, and then he had like a band. Did you have a bandana?
I did.
He he looked like a thug. I just have to say that's what it
looked like. I was a thug.
You were trying to be a hardcore thug, and I'm like, who's this guy? Bad boy, like type of like.
See, okay, that's another topic at hand.
Hold on.
Girls
and
being
then,
captured by bad boys.
But
What's up with
then
that?
he was
Anyway,
holding his baby brother Ryan.
that's right.
And he was just a cute little baby at that time, and he was like this tough guy with muscles showing, and then his hair's pulled back. But then he's holding a baby, and he's so cute with the baby, like he's all gentle with him. And
yeah.
I'm like, aw, he's a bad boy, but he's not. He's a nice guy.
Shout out to my little brother Ryan, who's
Ryan.
now like 24 or 25 years old.
Bigger than you now.
Or 26. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so anyway, that was the first time I met him, and then I remember we were talking, and then I was like, it was cool to meet you because we just knew each other a little bit, and then now we're getting to know each other.
Yes, yeah, because we were talking through Instagram.
No.
Through AIM. Yeah.
I am.
Instant Messenger.
I am.
Yeah, Instant Messenger. We were talking, conversing. We're like, I can't wait to see you. Blah blah blah. Again, all just friends. But then, of course, I mean, have you guys seen her? She's beautiful. So when I was like in the pictures, I'm like, oh man, she's beautiful. So of course I had a little bit of a crush on you, and I kind of ended this the reel as that I was becoming friends with a girl I liked. I did yeah, again, but then also not but my heart was looking for love. I was searching for love. My friends had girlfriends. I didn't have one yet, and I was searching for love. Of course, that awkward stage of teenage years.
Yeah.
That way of
I mean, going to the very beginning of my reel, where I shared that I always had this longing as a young girl to love and to be loved. It's exactly what you're saying, and I think that's innate in us. But as a young girl, I can't describe it. I just knew that's what I felt. I really longed for love, and I also wanted to love. And it was, of course, in our family and my parents, and then surrounding my other people. But then as I grew older, then it's longing for that, Adam and Eve, who I was longing for, the one who God made for me. And I knew he was out there somewhere. If it was going to be my calling, then I would be. If I was called to marriage, that he was out there. I really believed that he was out there. And so I was just wanting to wait for that right person.
I think also too, as now parents, I want to also highlight and place focus on our great vocation to witness that love as well. One of the greatest gifts I can give to our kids is to show them how much I love their mom, right? And I think that's a great witness to our kids, and that's what we saw as well when we were younger. We saw our parents love one another, and we wanted that same kind of love as well. So we were seeking for that love. And so this episode is dedicated to that love, that real love that we're all seeking for. Even at this age, I believe we're still seeking for that.
That ache never goes away.
That ache never goes away.
And that's something I want to touch on.
Yes.
That ache, that tension
Yeah.
is actually healthy and beautiful. And the Lord wants us to have that because why? Because our hearts will not rest until it rests in Him. And so that longing, that ache will always exist, even though we have each other, because you will never fulfill me
Full
the fullness
of that.
of what my heart longs for, and I will never fulfill you the fullness of what your heart longs for. My job is to point you to the fullness, which is God, and the same way you point me to where my heart will find rest, which is the Lord. And that's why I fell in love with you. I knew you were pointing me to God, my ultimate love, and our ultimate love, our first love.
Sometimes we forget that, right? Sometimes we look inwards and we're like, yeah, no, I'm the one for her. But no, I need to continually remind myself that I am pointer to where your true love is. So that's sometimes we need to be reminded of,
Yeah.
right? Because it becomes a selfish love type of thing where it's like, wait, I'm your one,
Mm-hmm.
but really that's a reminder as a husband, and as a wife, right? We point each other to.
And that pressure should never be put on anyone in the sense that it would literally crush you if I put all my longings and desires on you. And the moment you don't fulfill any one part of it, then I say, oh, I guess you weren't who I thought you were. Like that, this is a cause of many, broken relationships,
Yeah.
divorce. They say those things like, you don't fulfill me, or you were not who I thought you were. And that's because you're putting all of that pressure on the spouse to fulfill you, when ultimately it never could happen. You literally could never do that, and I could never do that for you.
Finite being
Yes,
can't fill that
infinite hole that we have. Yeah.
That's there's a hole in our hearts that could only be filled by you, right? Also, I can't stop but think about this song as well. I was uh I was really captured by this song during that time. Is Mary J. Blige, "Real Love." I'm
Mhm.
searching for that real love. It's during that time that song was in a sense prophecy that I was seeking for.
Mhm.
It's true. I was looking for that real love, not that fake love,
Mhm.
but that true, real love. So that's it for this episode. Tune into the next episode where we're gonna dive in. Actually, a little teaser, and she already mentioned it. The first time we really met and had an interaction, I'm gonna tell you guys how she flirted with me first time and how I reacted to that. So stay tuned.
We'll see the real story.
All right.
All
Thanks
right.
for joining us.
Thank you. God bless.
Bye.